Hey y'all, I'm Salina with Salina's World. Today we are going to be making 3 different dishes. We'll start off with lumpia, okay? And then we'll make beef and broccoli and fried rice. To get started with the lumpia, I'll bring you over here and show you everything that we're going to need. To start off with, we've got shredded cabbage, about, I say a medium head of cabbage, and I just shred it, okay? Then we've got shredded carrots, a medium onion, probably about a half a cup to 3/4 cups of mushrooms, and some bean sprouts. You'll also need a pound of hamburger and a pound of ground sausage and your lumpia wrappers. Now your lumpia wrappers are spring roll wrappers. They're very, very thin. And for traditional lumpia, this is what you need. And then a little bit of soy sauce and some ginger is what will go into the lumpia. I'm going to bring you over here and I will show you how I start this. I'll bring you down. Okay, to start with, I'm going to take the cabbage, the carrots, most of the onion, because I'm going to save some of the onion for one of the other dishes, for the rice. Okay, so I left this much, probably about, I'd say, about a half a cup of onion for the rice. Gonna dump the mushrooms in and the bean sprouts. We'll put about 2 cups of water in this and turn it on. I'll put a lid on this and let this steam until they're nice and tender. Now everybody makes lumpia different. This is the way I was shown how to do it. So I'll put a little bit of soy sauce. Excuse the dog. I'll be right with you. And a little bit of salt. Probably about a teaspoon of salt. Not much because the soy sauce has a lot of salt in it. We'll find the lid for that. And we'll let that simmer. I'm going to put that on the back burner. Now, for the meat, I'm going to put the 1 pound of ground beef and a pound of sausage, ground sausage. And you can pretty well use any sausage you want. A lot of people use pork, ground pork. I use this breakfast sausage. It tastes real good in it. Okay, so get this out of here. And we're going to turn this on. Smash it together. and brown this real good. Once this is all done, I will bring you back and show you what I do next. Okay, now with the lumpia, once your vegetables are done and they're pretty tender, I like mine with a little bit of crisp on it still. You put it in a strainer and you strain all the juice out of it. I smash it in to make sure as much juice is out, because you don't want to roll these up in the wrappers and the wrappers get too wet. So strain it real good, and then you let your vegetables cool off. You can put your meat in with it and strain that too. The meat is brown, so I'm going to add the meat to it. Okay. And just mix it up. Nice and incorporated together. I like meat in my lumpia. There's some varieties that don't have meat in it. Some just have the pork, some just have the beef. I like mine with both. And I tell you, my kids, I cannot cook this around with my kids around, because they will eat just this by itself before I even wrap it. They absolutely love this. My daughter calls it a lumpia bowl because she doesn't wrap hers. Okay, now just try to press out as much of the liquid as you can. Let that drain and cool off, because you want it to be to where you can touch it and not burn yourself. So just try to do your best to get as much liquid out as you can. Okay, as soon as this cools off enough to where we can work with it, I will bring you back and show you how to wrap it. Okay, I'm back. Now with these lumpia wrappers, what you need to do, they're so thin, you got to be careful when you take them apart, because you don't want to rip them. So take them apart very easily, and then you put them under a damp cloth, because you don't want them to dry out either. And I've done most of them. Okay. Okay, they're all taken apart. Now I'm going to put these back over here, and I'm going to keep a damp cloth on them so they do not dry out. Now I got to get the meat. Okay, now with this here, you take your wrapper, put it square to you, and put about 2 tablespoons of filling in it. However much that you like, and make sure it's wrapped tightly with the ends in. You gotta make sure it's wrapped tightly, because any type of air in it, it will, expand in the grease and break open. Put a little bit of egg wash on it to close it up, and you have your lumpia. I like doing them in a diamond shape. You can either do it in square or in the diamond shape. I like doing it in the diamond shape. I'll show you how to do both. That right in the middle. Fold it over and bring it back a little bit. Do 1 or 2 little turns and bring your sides in. Get a little bit of egg wash. And there you go. I'm going to do a few of these here. About 2 tablespoons, heaping spoons. Don't pull so tight that you break it. Just make sure that there's no air pockets in it. Okay, egg wash. Now once you get all these filled, if you don't want to cook them all right now, you put them on a cookie sheet like this and put them in your freezer and let them freeze real good. Once they're froze, come back and put them in a baggie, or you can put them in your food saver bags and take all the air out of it and put them back in your freezer, and you can save them for later. You bring them out of the freezer, let them thaw out, and then cook them after that. Now I'm going to get the rest of these rolled and I'll bring you back. Thank you. Okay, now why wait for the grease to heat up for the lumpia. We're going to start on our rice. Now I'm going to bring you up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, what I've done with the rice is I took some jasmine rice, 1 cup of jasmine rice, and then I cooked it like it says to do. 1 cup of rice to 1.5 cups of water, and you cook that for about 20 minutes or until the rice is done. Then I put it on a cookie sheet with this parchment paper, and I put it in the refrigerator to let it get cold. Okay. So to start on the rice, I put probably about a tablespoon of olive oil in here. I'm going to put an egg in. There's 1 egg beaten. Okay. We're going to scramble that up. Excuse me, I gotta get a plate here. As soon as that's all done, put that over to the side. Then I'm going to start with some ham. Put that a little bit. So that's all cooked through. The way to tell if this is done or not is I take just a little bit of water on the tip of my finger and I go like this. And if it sizzles back up, then that's done. Because you don't want it cold when you put the lumpia in. And that did not sizzle up, so it's not quite ready yet. So we're going to finish up with this rice. Now I'm going to put that with the ham with the egg. And I'm going to saute a little bit of onion with this. Put just a little more olive oil in. Okay. And the onions that I saved from earlier, we're going to put those in. Now you can use fresh ginger if you like. Just a moment. I forgot to get my ginger out. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, there it is. You can use fresh ginger if you like, but I have this that I got from the store. It's minced garlic. Put a little bit of garlic in that. And my ginger is right here. I just, about a half teaspoon of ginger. And you saute these onions up till they're nice and soft. I don't really like to bite into an onion too much, so I cook them down till they're soft. I love the flavor of the onion. I just don't like to bite into a crunchy onion. Okay. Everything that I do here, I'll put down in the description below. And I put that with the egg and the ham. Now we will start on the rice. Put a little bit of, just a little bit more olive oil, another teaspoon, and you put all your rice in there. I add just a little bit of soy sauce. Teaspoon or so of soy sauce. Mix that all together. Hi, sorry everyone. Did not realize the video stopped during the time I was cooking the rice. I hope you accept my apology and keep on watching because we're finishing up the rest of the lumpia and then go on into the beef and broccoli. So again, I'm sorry, and hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you for staying tuned. I don't know where we left off, but I started making these egg rolls, and I'm browning them into a golden brown, like this. Okay, and then I'm laying them into a pan upwards. Slant them upwards so they can drain. Okay. Now we need to make sure that you lay these in there away from you so they don't pop on you. This grease does not pop on you. I'm doing about 5 at a time. And this is how I'm laying them in a pan with some paper towel on the bottom so they can drain the grease out. When they're nice and golden brown. These cook very fast, so you got to keep an eye on them. You cannot walk away from these. I'm going to cook the rest of these up, and I will come back and show you the end on what we do next. Okay, now we are going to start on the beef and broccoli. In this pot back here, I've got just a little bit of water, about 2 to 3 cups of water. I'm just going to blanch the broccoli. Now, I have been marinating the meat in the refrigerator. What you do is you take flank steak and you cut it very thinly, and you take about a tablespoon of soy sauce, a tablespoon of rice vinegar, a teaspoon of cornstarch, and you mix that all up real good, and you marinate that in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes. It's better overnight because the longer you marinate it, the softer the meat gets. So we're going to start on this. I'll be putting about 2 tablespoons of oil in our pan again. Let that get hot. And you just add your meat. Now for the sauce that I made for it, it's a cup and a half of beef broth and a half a cup of soy sauce, a teaspoon of ginger, and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. You put all that together and mix that all up. I like a little more of the sauce in mine, so I basically doubled the recipe than what it normally does. So I like the sauce. So make sure that's all stirred up before you put that in with your meat. We got to brown this meat real good first. Turn that heat up. Now, sorry about the can opener sound, but I'll show you what I'm doing next in just a second. In with my meat, I like to put cut baby corn in my beef and broccoli, so I just add that to my meat as it's cooking, so that heats through. And I don't put my broccoli in with my beef until I put it on my plate, because I don't like my broccoli being soggy. And if it don't get all ate, then you put it in your refrigerator in with all that sauce. When you go to reheat it, it makes your broccoli real soggy. So I keep my broccoli on the side, and I heat that up separately and put them on my plate together when I make my plate. I've turned this heat up to a little over medium high heat. We just need to brown this meat real nice. And as that meat's browning, it's cooking the baby corn at the same time. Now you can use fresh broccoli if you like, but today I'm using frozen broccoli. I like to use the broccoli florets when I use the frozen broccoli. I gotta find my scissors. Okay, I'm going to set that aside when that's ready. This is going to be so good. And if you've noticed, my shirt says the Oklahoma YouTube Meetup 2020. I went to that with the Crockers, Jason Crocker and Jared Crocker and Matt Crocker. I had such a wonderful time. It was amazing. I met so many other YouTube creators that I watch all the time, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. There was a lot of just people that watch YouTube and watch these channels too that was there. It was very nice getting to know all of them also. Cold Beer was there. Sawyer Ridge Farm and Jason Crocker was the ones that hosted it. And Jared Crocker, the real Matt Crocker, was there. Altogether there was 45 different YouTube creators there that had channels. Plus extra people that just watch YouTube and watch all these channels. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my sauce in because the meat is done. Make sure you stir this nice. You don't want any of that cornstarch to be clumped up at the bottom. I'm going to move this meat and stuff over to the side and put the sauce in. Oh, it don't look like I'm going to need all of it. We're going to cook that for about a minute or so until it thickens up. And I'm going to put my broccoli in, and we're just going to blanch this just a little bit to get it to where it's not frozen anymore. Get a thing out here to get the broccoli out. And I'll go. Heat up this broccoli. Don't want to cook it fully because you want a little bit of crunch, but you don't want it all mushy. Oh, look at this, how it's thickening up nicely. And this is done also. Time to take the broccoli out. Let's see. Yep, that's nice. Drain that real good. Make sure there's no water left. Okay, there's my broccoli. And my beef. I'm going to plate this up and see how it tastes. Give me a plate here. A little bit of the meat and the baby corn. A couple pieces of broccoli. Now I mix that up. I'm going to bring you over to the table where the rice and the lumpia is at. Excuse me. There's the lumpia. I'll bring you down here. Okay. Let's see here. The rice. That's on my plate, and a nice lumpia. Now I like what they call duck sauce with my lumpia, but they didn't have none of this plum sauce that you can get from the Chinese store. It's just about the same thing. Open it up here. Put a little dipping sauce on my plate. Let's try this. Make sure I get a piece of baby corn and some broccoli. Now that is delicious. I'm going to try this rice here. Wonderful. Dip my Lumpia in that. It's called plum sauce. And it's very, very good. Amazing. I don't think I'm going to give anybody else this Lumpia. That's all for me. Okay, everybody. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll get more notification when I upload more videos. Hope you have a great day and see you on the next video.